Hey guys, so I assume no one will be watching this, but um, yeah, this session I'm just going over thinking about weird or different non-conventional lines. I just enjoy doing that sometimes, something I've done for a long time. Um, yeah, I get a lot of value out of it, even though most of the time it leads to nothing. Most of the time it's just like, this play is stupid. Um, I'd like to do it sometime, so that's what we're doing. And yeah, it isn't not many people share my interest for this, so I have to do it on my own. Um, so yeah, we'll just generally just look at things a bit differently. Um, I was thinking about potting this lot. It's like a fairly strong combo of Ace King, but I don't really know what that accomplishes really. Um, it's like check back's a pretty reasonable play. I mean, overbet might be a thing. There's a lot of draws and stuff, and I think people would just call like a lot funny with draws. Like, not necessarily with Ace King, but maybe going like 18 or something, um, which would put 48 in the pot and 66 in stacks. Just like jamming the turn. And that's like a pretty interesting line. And yeah, Queen might have a difficult time. Like Kings and Aces is a pretty reasonable line for that. I've been thinking about overbets on these more connected boards with the draws and stuff, and I think it might make sense. I think people call too much with the draws, even for all ins on the turn. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if I jam like Kings, and then Ace Deuce of Hearts calls the jam or something, or even like King Jack calls the jam or something like that. Um, so I think that's a pretty reasonable play. I think doing this with like Ace King no Ace of Hearts is pretty interesting. Like, I could see like some Queen X holding and then getting called by like draws that we beat, which would be pretty cool. I think it's too ambitious. I think it's bad. Um, I don't know. It might be bad. I guess he would, when we 1.5x pot, he just calls like Queen 9, Queen 8 plus or something. So he has like Queen 8 off potentially. Feels like Queen 8 off, potentially Queen 9, Queen Jack. Maybe he slow plays this board when I 1.5x pot on the storyboard. I don't really think so. I think he's just like two pair, like let's fucking go. But Queen Jack, King Queen, Ace Queen. Um, but yeah, like can't really expect King Queen, Ace Queen to fold. So like he'd get to the range with get to the turn with a bunch of flush draws, like Ace High flush draws, King Jack, Jack 9, just like fuck ton of combos, like 7 8 of hearts, 9 8 of hearts is gonna be in there. Jack 8 of hearts, like a whole bunch of hard draws, like maybe 20, 30 combos of hard draws, 30 combos of straight draws. Um, so 60 combos there, and then he has like King, Queen, Ace, Queen that we say never folds. That's like, let's assume we have Ace, King. So that would be not 18 combos of Ace, King, King, Queen, and then like Queen, Jack, Queen 9, Queen 8 would be another 36 combos like most of the range he gets to turn with is a draw. If I did that right. Even if he slow plays sometimes with Queen 10 or pocket 6s, most of the range he gets to turn with is a draw. After we pot it. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Let's dig a bit deeper just to make sure. So we'll count the flush draws, so all these will be one combo. 1, 2, I'll count how many hands he selected. Jack of hearts. That might fast play. Go Jack 7. Jack 5. 10x of hearts might fast play. Do some of them. 9x of hearts, 8x of hearts. I don't know how many of these he defends, but we'll give him a few. So that looks like 4, 8, 9, 15, 23, and then King Jack is 12. That's 35. Jack 9 is 16, so that's 51. And then Ace King, Ace Queen might have fast played, but we'll just say all combos, that's 24. And then, Queen Jack, Queen 9, Queen 8 is 36. So if we jam this and then get called by draws and get some let's say all the worst, we beat every draw except for the 10 of hearts once, right? How much equity would we have if he calls with the ace high draws, calls with it's really interesting. So I think what's going to happen is he might call or might fold with the draws. But let's say he just folds all the draws except for the combo ones. So the combo ones will represent 4 or 5 combos. So we get him to fold those 45 combos of draws. Okay, fine. And then let's say we just make Queen 8, Queen 9 fold. So that's 24 combos. So we get him to fold 69 combos or something, 70 combos. Get him to fold 70 combos, and then he calls with Queen Jack plus, which is 12, just 30 combos. So you get him to fold 70% of the time if he always calls Queen Jack King, Queen Ace Queen. And then when he does call, we still have equity. It's pretty good. We could say maybe he folds 1.5x. I don't really know how much worse I can make this for myself. I can give him every slow play even, and now he calls 40% of the time, but we still have equity, So it's our jam, we jam 1.5x spot. He folds 60% of the time, so we're already breaking even plus our equity. Pretty good situation for us. I think it's pretty good, and we're not even mentioning the times he might call with ace 10 and fold the turn. He might fold Queen Jack. Could even give him pocket 6s. He's still folding between 55-60% of the time on the turn. And let's check out our equity. We'll say this is his range for calling. He might jam ace queen on the flop, by the way, which would make our lives a bit easier. Let's give him Queen 10 suited. Give him some combo draws, suit selection, ace 10 of hearts, Jack 9 of hearts, King 10 of hearts, Jack 10 of hearts. And we could run that. Ace of diamonds, King of hearts, King of hearts, diamonds, hearts. How are we running at so much equity? We do something wrong? Must have done something wrong. Oh, we need to do the turn. So let's say the turn is the blank. The blank. It's hard to. We'll still have 35% equity, so like, man, you really don't need that much folds. So it's a pretty cool play, and it seems like a pretty nice play with pocket sixes. Seems like a pretty nice play with pocket kings, pocket aces here. I think I like it with this particular hand. I think it's actually pretty good. Compared to just like checking and then, I don't know, we call some turns, fold some rivers, can't really value bet. I don't know, king or ace comes, we could win some value. That would be nice. Jack comes, we can win some value. Yeah, checking's good too, but overbetting's more fun. You have pots, which is pretty interesting. I don't know, like he overbet when he had trips on a drawy board. Yeah, there's no real reads here. I was thinking about raising. Problem is, I think there's like 10 combos of small flushes in this range. Counter to that is that we still have like 6-7 outs versus that, and they're not going to 3-bet. You could also just have like king 9 and 9-8, which is 32 combos, which is a little bit less, 28 combos, we'll say. So he has like 28 combos of that, and then small flushes, and then like occasionally 2 pairs or like ace of heart type hands. I think it's a very clear raise. And it's called rivers 45% too. So like, no, it's not that call. That seems pretty thin. Seems pretty standard. That's a straight. That's 2 pair in a 1 pot. I think raising is the best way to get money versus those hands right now. I don't think calling is the best play. I think we should raise, go like 24, 25 or something. You could argue for raising bigger and just being like, hey, straight's not going to fold, like going 30 right now. Saying a straight isn't going to fold, like half of his 9-8s are going to have a heart. So like a straight with a heart, like, good luck folding that. And it's drawing dead. Quarter of his king 9s will have a heart. So like a straight with a heart, good luck folding that. Try check back flop. So yeah, I think it's reasonable to go like 30 now in case like a king runs off, an ace runs off, a 9, an 8, a heart. That is 6, 10, 14, about half the deck isn't great for us. And then board pairs, I don't feel so hot about jamming it in because of 2 pairs. So I think going like 30. If you go 30, it'll be 72 in the pot, 54 in stacks. I think that's pretty cool. 30, 36 or something. I think an overbet is cool when we check back the flop and we're just kind of targeting straights and stuff, and he's gonna have like straights plus flush draw, which just can't fold. He's also gonna have like ace of heart type hands, which probably won't fold either. And yeah, we just call river, which I still don't think is good. I think we should min raise. I think we're looking at 5, maybe 10 combos of flushes, like we said, and then like 28 combos of the straights. And if we just put them in raise, they just can't fold. They'll have a really hard time folding. They could fold like half the time. I think we go like 30, and like you could fold half the time with the straight, and we'd still make money. So yeah, I think this was pretty poorly played. He ended up having 9-6, and that was pretty surprising. I'll mark this. Okay, is that just one hand? Jesus, okay. Get shouty. Alright, we got A7, check. We put in the bet. The question of whether to overbet or not. 25-10. Some jacks before. Oh no, he hasn't. Limp like ace-3 off. Doesn't really limp much. Doesn't really raise pre too much, so like a lot of the top can still be in there. But you would have to assume like ace-jack, ace-queen. What ace-x beats us? Ace-9. We'd have to have ace-9 and just check limp pre. Check the flop, just call the turn with 2 pair versus half pot. And then, like, there's only 3 combos, potentially. You'd have to have ace-10, limp pre, just not bet the flop, just call the turn. Ace-jack, ace-queen, limp pre, not bet the flop, turn. I think we have the best hand, close to always. I think there's a missed flush draw. I think we're targeting king, jack, king, queen. And overbets, they just fold a bunch. I think if we had a straight, an overbet's pretty cool. Trips like have a really hard time folding. And I think it's a spot where we should test it. Like, so if you think someone can have trips a lot, I think that's a worthwhile shot to try and overbet. I think with this, we'll just, I think going like, because it's such a strong nutted hand, I think just going like 15 or something. But because we don't beat ace-x, I don't like overbetting. I think I'm just like 15, 16, 17. Yeah, that kind of lets him off the hook, but wanted to make sure I got the call. His call river's 0-6, though. Kind of problematic. Ooh, it's tiring. Alright, we'll take a mini break. Alright, back. Audit, small blind calls. Small blind doesn't call too much. Yes, he does. Called with aces in the small blind before? Oh no, he hasn't. Ace jack suited. But yeah, not much of a call range. There's no reason to bet here. Pretty tough because, like, I think it's a pretty strong flop track. I think people put me on like an ace or a king still fairly often. The only bluffs he has is like queen jack suited, queen 10 suited, jack 10 suited. If he's legitimately this tight. So we call. And then he pots it. It was really tough. We beat chops, of course. Seems like just the call. Like, say he has all combos of ace king. That's just like 6 combos, and then ace 4 suited is 1. Pocket fours is 1. So that's 8 combos. There's 8 combos that beat me. So I just need like a few combos of these. There was 4. Like if he bluffs these a third of the time, we profit. If he bluffs them like, you know, just like once, and then like occasionally out of all this, queen ace jack ace 10. He plays these ace X, which is like a 16, 24, like 30 something combos. We just need him to play those like 10% of the time. We just need him to play ace, vice versa aces like that. And then 10% of the time we need him to turn like his gutters into a bluff. I think it's a pretty reasonable call. Yeah, I think it's a pretty reasonable call, but we also need him to 2/3 the turn, like an ace, like an ace 7, ace 8, which I don't know why he would do that. No, possible. Seems like really close. We haven't found any river bluffs by him, although server aggression is 100. Yeah, I mean, skewing more towards the passive side. I don't think this is a bad call. I think, in theory, where are we at in our range? Like, I have like ace ace sometimes, and then I have like all these suited aces. So basically, this is just like the top. I don't know. I might fold the turn with a king. I might fold the turn with a king, so it's like I don't have to call with my ace X all that often. I'd rather call with these lower ones because they don't block these. They don't block these. I think just people are more likely to bet the turn for 2/3 with these. And plow through on the river just because they like feel a bit more like, oh, I had a good hand or something type of thing. Like, this was a good hand, whereas like these will just be more inclined to show down, you know? So yeah, I think maybe calling with these sometimes and folding these. I think I should fold these. In which case we'd be folding a lot. You just have to fold like half the time. We'd get to the river with like this would be maybe ace 10 bets, but yeah, something like this would be our range, and then like some ace ace. And yeah, we'd have some 9 combos of the like 12 combos of ace 10, 12 combos of ace 9, so it's like 24. Fold all the ace 10s, we're folding like 12, then we'll have like 15. I don't know. So yeah, I think we should call sometimes. I really think we should like just hit a frequency on this because it's really close. And I don't hate like folding a king on the turn. I think that's pretty reasonable too. This was really cool. I just went for like, this guy just loves to fold river. So I just went for like the bet check bet, which I think is really good. And I went for the over bet too. I thought that was a really cool line. Really hard for me to bet here. The HUD just moves around every hand. Is that what's going on? Stay where you're supposed to go. Annoying. Jack. I was really thinking about jamming here, and the only argument for not jamming is if you think he folds a lot of pairs that would stack off, or he bluffs a lot of air after you call. So if I check back jam this turn, is he folding king queen? Like, so he's betting a polarized size, which like this counts like king 9 quite a lot, maybe even king 10. King 10, king queen, really folding here. 2 pair never folds. We don't beat any 2 pair. How are we? The other argument is like if he has us beat, saving money. Like, so I guess if he had king jack or 3-3 or 7-7, those are the only hands that beat me. I don't know. There's 6 combos of king jack, 3 combos of 3-3, but it would have to raise pre, which is pretty ambitious. Not a lock to call the 3-bet either. Like, and he raises quite a lot, so that's why I 3-bet. So you could potentially save money by being able to fold like some rivers, like queen of clubs, jack, queen of clubs, jack, queen. Maybe you could fold the river. Yeah, you could fold the river on a queen. Did I not fold on a queen? I think you should call a 10 though. I don't know. We should call a 10. King. I mean, you'd basically just be able to fold on a queen, maybe a 10, maybe an ace. I don't know, this guy's a reg, he might jam ace king. Fold on a club. I think folding on like a club might be a thing. Because, I mean, there's still lots of bluffs and he's a reg though. I don't know if I want to do that. He has 0 bluffs on the river, it looks like. It looks like he bluffs the turn. Never bluffs the river. Do I have that checks weak stat? Check weak. Look for hands where he like bet the turn, check the river. So here he bets like the misdraw, gets like pretty interesting river to bluff. Doesn't. That's a showdown hand. No real data on like him like not bluffing. Oh, 2/3 sizing on the turn. Is that ever a bluff? Like, pretty confused. Okay, so he has 9 combos of hands that beat us or so, but then he also has like 8 king queen, jack x of clubs, 7x of clubs, ace queen of clubs, queen 10 of clubs, 10 9 of clubs, ace 10 of clubs. All those are hands that I'd prefer to jam against, I feel like. Let's see if they like. I just prefer to jam, like even like 10 9 of clubs, a combo draw. A lot of his flush draws are combo draws that you're letting realize a lot of equity, and we haven't seen him bluff the river. So I think, and like, we need him to follow through on the river for this call to be the best play. So I think just like king queen 8, jack 7 9, ace king is possible. That's like another 6, we'll say 4 because he's a reg. 13, jack x of clubs, that's going to be about 5 at least. 18, queen x, like queen 10 of clubs, queen 9 of clubs, ace queen of clubs, ace 10 of clubs, 10 9 of clubs. We're looking at like 20 combos of hands that we'll call. We're going to be pushing quite a lot of equity versus this call range, I think. We don't check what we were pushing. Such a shitty way to do it. Okay. King of clubs, jack of spades, 3 of clubs, 7 of diamonds. Range of like, we'll just give him ace king suited, king queens. Let's say they'll bet call. Pocket 3s, jack 7 suited, king jacks. Good selection, ace queen of clubs, 10 of clubs, queen jack of clubs, jack 10 of clubs, ace jack of clubs, jack 9 of clubs. We'll just do those because like we don't know if they like bet for sure. 10 9 of clubs, queen 10 of clubs, queen 9 of clubs. 7x clubs. We don't know if it bets for sure, so we'll just give him a few. I think we'll be pushing lots of equity. So we're pushing equity versus his call range too. You could even fold king queen sometimes, I imagine. Take ace king out of the range, I imagine. So the thing is, if he barrels though, call is the best play. Because his range is so tiny. Like queen 10 off, ace queen, ace 10 represent potentially 48 combos. And a lot of these hands. So I would probably lean towards calling, and like 10-9 suited too. Like, so half of his range could potentially be air, or like, let's say he doesn't always bluff, but like a third of his range is air, and a third of his range is bluffs, rather. But we really need him to follow through quite often because we're letting him realize equity. A lot of equity. A lot. So we need to get the bluff. The problem is, like, we're letting him realize equity, but then we only win, like, 54 extra chips. So we're letting him realize equity, so maybe he bluffs and we win an extra 54 chips. 54 big blinds. Not even, like, a pot-sized bet or anything. I think that skews this towards a jam. I think the stat we should have looked at in game, like we should have done the analysis, been like a lot of his still has plenty of worse hands to call with. A lot of his draws will still bet call it off at this stack depth. We need him, and then like we need him to follow through the river, the bluff for a call to be the best play here. Does he follow through with the bluff? We go here, boom. 0 of 13 bet bluff, 1.7 aggression on the river. Overall general population reads on China. Very easy play. So yeah, we should have jammed here. And yeah, I just snap called the river. Yeah, this is problematic. We're not doing very great. Now we'd have to turn like a pair into a bluff really often. Like a lot of his bluffs made a pair. So we'd have to turn a pair into a bluff. We'd be 0 value. King, queen. I don't know if king, queen, ace, king goes for this anymore. I don't even know if like jack 7 necessarily goes for this 100% of the time. I don't know if ace king's like 100%, king queen's not 100% anymore. So we're looking at a range where we do like pretty shitty versus like I don't know, just give him some like this will represent his random like 2 pair, and then he has like ace queen potentially, queen 9 suited potentially, pocket 3s, king jack. We're destroyed. King 10 suited, we'll say. Not even king 10 off. And then we'll add the 10 of spades. We're just destroyed. We have no shot. 18% equity. We need 29. I mean, it's... We bluff like every ace-x clubs. It's a really great follow through if you have ace-x of clubs here. So yeah, I mean, if he bluffs every ace-x of clubs, it's pretty close. If we add in king 10 off though, really close. This makes me not hate it. I mean, probably at top of the range, right? We're three betting a lot. I don't have king jack. I don't have ace queen. I don't have sets. I have pocket sevens. Like, this is really the top. If I have pocket sevens, I'm just like all in. Fuck you on the turn for sure. So yeah, this is just like top of my range. This bad boy, like if he had a club draw, he might follow through. He's more reggy. So I think it's a call. I think if I didn't even look at the stats though. I'm just like, oh, 2 pair, I click call. I just click call really quick. If I seen these stats, I would have clicked fold. Like general China reads, looking at these stats. So I just like felt like this was a call. It wasn't because I wasn't interested in trying. It just seemed like a snap call. And wasn't worth thinking about. But I think it clearly is. It is not a call versus someone who's just not going to bluff. And then, yeah, it's not a call. That's a bad place. Should have just won that pot on the turn. And yeah, if he doesn't follow through, like the EV difference is a pretty big deal. Like, I can fold, and then when he has ace queen, like his EV is just 0. He wins nothing. But when I call, his EV is like something. If he never bluffs, I guess I get to stack him on an ace, and he stacks me on a 10. I mean, maybe if he never bluffed, I would still just call. Like, I get to stack him on an ace potentially, and fold on a 10. And then he never follows through, but I don't know. I don't really know. I think we did the 45 minutes. We need a few more minutes. I called here, and I didn't think a set would jam. I'll skip the sound. Three bet. I wasn't going to bet river, but he threw mud at me, so I just like stuck it in. See if he has any sizing tells on the turn. I don't know, was flop ever like a tiny bet? This guy raises a pretty lot from the small blind, actually. Is that where he was? Nope. Yeah, he even has like a jack-4 suited in there. One more minute. I don't see that tiny being good. I don't see like betting being all that good. Yeah. Be kind of interesting with your big hands. He just like loves to fold. So I don't know what we would do there. We call here. And then ever jam or min raise. Min raise is pretty cool. Then jam river versus him because he loves to fold. But there would be 40, 80, 120 in the pot, 60 in stacks. I feel like that's how I would play ace king. I think he might still actually fold the river, just because how much he folds the river. With two pairs even. I think jamming, if we jam, I feel like ace king finds, like two pairs find the call. I think if we min raise jam river, they don't, potentially. I could still rip it in on like king or ace rivers. If he folds two pair on the river, that's a really good play. If he doesn't have 9-8 off, like tens, jacks, queens aren't four betting free. I think this guy like just never four bets. Yes, four bet is 0. It's only four bet aces. He has all ace kings though. If we go for that sizing, what's the biggest hand he's done that sizing with? Done a half pot with two pair and a limp pot. Done half pot with a flush. That's pretty fucking strong. Half pot with trips and a raise pot. He will half pot. A little bit more skewed towards. Looks like big hands is a big portion of his range, and middle pair and less is like 60% of his range, and top pair and better is 40% of his range, that size. And for the standard bet, this is the same one? No, this is a different one. So versus was 2/3 is like top pair or better about 50% of the time. And then his overbets are his pot size bets. It's not enough sample. Micro bets, just like trash. So yeah, he's skewed towards weaker hands. You know, it's still possible he has the big hands. It's a decent turn aggression, you know. 6.8 is pretty high, 43% plus. There's a lot of bluffs there. Just he loves to bluff the turn. After the check back, I think I have that note on him. I have like two pretty thin bluffs. Like, let's look at first miss C bet. Stab out of miss 50%. Miss position or miss C bet. Over like I guess a big enough sample where it won't show the sample. And we've seen two hands where he just has like really low equity. So yeah, you can argue for like raising here. Then you just give all the draws it could call. You can argue for like jamming here, and like getting him to fold like king jack, king 10, queen 9, jack 9, king queen type hands potentially. It's a really tough hand. Really not sure. But yeah, as played, he does a lot of those turn stabs. I have like pretty bottom of my range. Just like rip it in, make him fold. You can also argue for going smaller, especially when he throws mud. Like, I think he's like heavily skewed towards weak hands, but occasionally it's the nuts trying to like go for that. So I think like just like 55, 60 would be ideal.